What if I told you that the greatest rescue mission in human history wasn't built by a nation or an army, but by one man alone? A massive structure, 137 meters long, 23 meters wide, and 3 stories high. Rising from the earth, not designed by engineers, not guided by science, but commanded by God himself. This was Noah's Ark. The instructions sounded simple, almost impossible. Build an ark. No blueprint, no machines, no modern tools. Only faith and absolute obedience. Before a single piece of wood could be placed, Noah had to find the perfect ground. Strong, unshakable, worthy of carrying a miracle. He walked slowly across the land, pressing the soil beneath his feet, feeling its strength, testing its truth, because in those days, rain had never fallen, and the earth remained damp, unstable, breathing moisture from below. Still, he didn't stop. With his bare hands, he cleared massive stones, tore out deep, stubborn roots, and leveled the land inch by inch. No applause echoed around him. No voices cheered him on. Only silence, sweat, and relentless effort. And as he worked, people gathered. They watched and they laughed. Why build a ship where there is no water? They mocked. But Noah never answered. Because he wasn't building for people. He was building for God. Then came the next trial. Wood. God commanded him to use cypress trees, tall, heavy, unyielding giants of the forest. Cutting even one tree demanded hours of exhausting effort. Yet Noah needed hundreds. Day after day, strike after strike, his axe fell until the forest echoed with the sound of collapsing trees. But cutting was only the beginning. Moving those massive trunks without machines seemed impossible. So they rolled them slowly, painfully, using logs beneath logs, pulling with ropes, inch by inch. Every movement demanded strength. Every step tested endurance. But with every log that reached the site, Noah's purpose grew stronger. And then the construction began. The most critical part, the foundation, the spine of the ark, the part that would carry not just wood, but life itself. But no single tree was long enough. So Noah did what seemed impossible. He joined massive timbers together, carving them with precision, fitting them so perfectly that they became one unbreakable structure. Then came the frame, the skeleton of the ark, where every beam had to be placed with absolute accuracy. One mistake, one misalignment, and everything could collapse. But Noah stayed steady, focused, faithful. Then came the ceiling. God had commanded him to cover the ark inside and out with pitch. A thick, burning substance spread across every crack, every joint, every corner, layer after layer, until the ark became completely sealed against the waters that were yet to come. Inside, the ark transformed into something extraordinary. It wasn't empty. It was alive with purpose. 3 levels, carefully arranged. Heavy animals below to keep balance. Medium ones in the middle. Birds and small creatures above, where air could flow. Food was stored for months. Grains, hay, dried supplies. Everything needed to survive the unknown. It wasn't just a ship anymore. It was a floating world. And then something unbelievable happened. The animals came, on their own. No force, no fear. Pairs of every kind, walking, flying, crawling, moving in perfect harmony. Predator and prey side by side, as if guided by an invisible hand. Finally, Noah entered. His family followed. 8 souls in total. And then the door closed. Not by human hands, but by God. And in that moment, everything changed. The earth trembled. Water burst violently from beneath the ground, as if the world itself was breaking apart. And from above, the sky opened. Rain fell for the first time in history. Not gently, but with terrifying ulkuah, thunder crashing, lightning tearing through the darkness. The world began to drown. And the ark, the very thing people mocked, rose from the ground and began to float. Inside was fear, responsibility, survival. Outside, destruction. For 40 days and 40 nights, the rain did not stop. And even when it did, The waters remained, covering the earth for 150 days, swallowing mountains, erasing civilizations, leaving nothing behind but silence and the ark. Days turned into months. No direction, no control, only faith. And then a quiet, powerful moment came. God remembered Noah. The waters slowly began to recede. The ark came to rest upon the mountains of Ararat. Noah sent out a raven, then a dove. At first, nothing. But then, the dove returned with an olive leaf. A small sign, carrying a powerful truth. Life had returned. Hope had survived. When the dove did not come back again, Noah knew the earth was ready. But still, he waited, because the same God who told him to enter would tell him when to step out. And finally, the command came. The door opened. Light flooded in. Fresh air filled their lungs. A new world stood before them. Animals stepped out into freedom. Noah stepped out into history. And his first act was not to build a home, but to build an altar. A moment of gratitude. A moment of surrender. And then God made a promise. Never again would the earth be destroyed by flood. And as a sign of that promise, he placed a rainbow in the sky. The ark was never just wood. It was faith tested beyond limits. It was obedience in the face of doubt. It was hope when the world had none. Because when the world laughed, Noah listened to God. And in the end, that made all the difference.